Hello and welcome back to English for You. I'm Seb.
And I'm Erin.
So, Erin, have you ever had to plan a big event or a big party?
Well, we talked about this briefly in the day one in our For You chat. So I have planned parties before. I've also planned events. So I haven't planned all of the events, but I've been a part of planning events, and I've been in charge of, contacting people, confirming things that we need to bring in, like getting tents set up and making sure everyone is organized, everyone has the right amount of money or the right tools they need, sort of thing. So I've done a bit of that.
A lot of planning, okay,
Yeah.
I see. Have you ever had to run into any kind of big problems?
Always.
Situations?
Yes, there
okay.
are always problems. You kind of have to work on your feet to fix them. But hopefully, if you do much of your planning in advance, you have the tools you need to fix those problems. All right. Well, today's article is a business letter.
It is,
doing just that, making sure all those details are planned in advance. So let's find out what we're talking about today.
Let's.
Reading.
An email to confirm, letting the right people know. Hello, Sally. You asked me to let the HR department know when we found a restaurant for Ron's retirement celebration. I think I've found an appropriate place to wish our boss farewell. Rosie's restaurant has a large banquet room that can accommodate 35 people. Our department has 28 people, so the space should be sufficient. With the extra seating, a few of Ron's friends in other departments can come too. Their banquet room has a large wall-mounted TV. So, I thought that we can bring a computer and show a slideshow that I put together. It shows some of the fun times we've had with Ron over the years. Rosie's also has a microphone, so we can take turns making speeches and toasting our distinguished boss. Rosie's requests that we put down a deposit of $100 to book the room. Could you please call the restaurant and attend to that? They offer a special menu for the event, along with free parking for 10 vehicles. I suggest we carpool to get there. I have attached the menu to this email. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Regards, David.
Okay, so our article for today, we've said it's a business email, is titled An Email to Confirm, Let the Right People Know. Okay, so we are confirming the details, we are checking that the details of the event are okay, but why? Because we are back with David again, and he's still planning his boss's retirement party.
That's right.
Okay, so let's jump right in. We start the email with, Hello, Sally. You asked me to let the HR department know when we found a restaurant for Ron's retirement celebration. Okay, so he was talking about the HR department, that's the human resources department. That's part of a company that organizes the people who work there. They handle when the employees get paid, who gets hired, who gets fired, all of that stuff.
That's right. A pretty important part of a company.
Pretty important part.
Right. Okay, so he's greeted Sally in his letter and he's mentioned why he's contacting her. Now he's gone on to say what is happening. And he says here, I think I've found an appropriate place to wish our boss farewell. Okay, so what he means by an appropriate place, something that's appropriate is correct or suitable for a certain situation. So for example, a restaurant that can only seat 20 people is not appropriate for this group because they have 28. Another example might be when someone wears shorts to a business meeting. We could say that's not appropriate or inappropriate. There we just added IN to the front. As an example, we could say, what kind of outfit will be appropriate for Grayson's dinner party tomorrow?
Okay, I would say something quite formal, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Something quite formal.
Maybe not jeans and a t-shirt.
Maybe not jeans and a t-shirt. Maybe not swimwear. Right, so they've found an appropriate place for the party that they can wish Ron farewell. Yay! So to wish someone farewell, by the way, is a phrase that means to say goodbye to someone, often when they are leaving you for a very long time. Bye. We could also hold a big party, for example, to wish Erin farewell if she decided to leave Taiwan and move to South America. Why? Because she's going to go far, far away, and we want to remember all the good work she's done and all the good times we've had together.
Aww.
It'd be sweet, but don't go.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, well, let's continue on in the email to say Rosie's restaurant has a large banquet room that can accommodate 35 people. So here he's explaining why Rosie's restaurant is a good choice for their party. And that's because it can accommodate a certain amount of people. Now this verb, accommodate, is used when a space can sort of hold a certain amount of people or things, or people just fit comfortably into a space. So if a hotel room accommodates 4 people, then 4 people can sleep comfortably in that space.
It's appropriate for 4 people.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so our article continues. Our department has 28 people, so the space should be sufficient. So what does sufficient mean? Let's find out. Okay, so they have sufficient space. Sufficient is an adjective, and it is something that is enough for a particular purpose. A room with sufficient space for 50 people, for example, is a room that can comfortably fit that many people. Meanwhile, if I had sufficient money to travel to Canada this summer, that would mean that I could afford to go there. Now, you might have noticed that sufficient is quite a lot like another word, enough. We can have enough space for 50 people or sufficient space for 50 people. The main difference between these two words is that sufficient is a little bit more formal sounding, so it's good for situations like our business email here. Now, the opposite of sufficient is insufficient. So the same way we saw inappropriate was appropriate with in added in front of it, insufficient means that there is not enough for something. Now, our example sentence for sufficient is, because I don't start work until 11 a.m. today, I have sufficient time to stop for breakfast at my favorite cafe.
Of course, the space is so sufficient that there are extra seats. And of course, David has a good idea here for that, since this is a retirement party and they are saying goodbye to one of their bosses. It says here, with the extra seating, a few of Ron's friends in other departments can come too.
Oh, that's a nice idea.
Yeah, that is a nice idea. So, of course, seating here is just more chairs or more places for people to sit in the restaurant.
Not on the floor.
Yes.
No. So it goes on, their banquet room has a large wall-mounted TV.
Excellent.
Okay, so the TV is wall-mounted. That is an adjective, and what we have here is actually a compound adjective. That's an adjective which is made up of 2 words. So we have wall and mounted. So when something is wall-mounted, it is attached to a wall so that it doesn't need to be put on a stand or on a table. So a wall-mounted TV is a TV that is stuck directly on the wall.
It's a nice space saver.
Yes, space saver. It's good for presentations and, showing slideshows and things like that. Yeah.
This is actually quite a common thing that you see in Taiwan in restaurants. So just take a look for a wall-mounted TV the next time in your restaurant and you'll know exactly what we mean. All right, so he has an idea for how this wall-mounted TV can be used. He says, so I thought that we can bring a computer and show a slideshow that I put together. Now, here's what a slideshow is. When you take a bunch of pictures, all kind of related to one another, so maybe all of the pictures you took on your vacation, you put them together in a computer program that allows the pictures to show up one after another. Now, you usually see slideshows at big events like weddings. You might see all of the pictures of the couple before they got married and how they met and maybe their baby pictures. You might see one at retirement parties, pictures of the person retiring and the work they're doing, or something more business related like presentations.
They can be quite moving, can't
Yeah.
they? Not the business presentations,
No,
but
but
the other
the
ones can be
personal
quite
ones.
moving. The personal ones,
Yeah.
yes. Anyway, he put together a slideshow. So put together, that's a useful phrase there. When we put something together, we assemble it out of lots of smaller things. Basically, David is saying that he got lots of old photos, videos, messages from Ron's friends and colleagues and put them all together into one nice slideshow to put on at the retirement party. It's not just slideshows that we can put together though. We can also put together jigsaw puzzles or maybe put together an outfit, you know, because outfits are all the clothes that we wear.
Right.
Or we could put together a piece of furniture.
Lots of different things.
Yes, lots of things.
All right, so what are David's ideas for this slideshow? He thinks it could do this. It says it shows some of the fun times we've had with Ron over the years. Exactly what we said there. When you put all these pictures together, it shows kind of, you know, your relationship with a person.
A little bit of a tearjerker.
Yeah.
Shed a few tears.
Oh.
Yes, so he goes on. Rosie's also has a microphone,
Okay.
so we can take turns making speeches and toasting our distinguished boss. So they really like Ron then, don't they?
Yeah.
So they're going to take it in turns doing something, but what exactly does this mean? Let's take a closer look now. Okay, when we take turns doing something, we do one thing after another, okay? So one person will do one thing and then a second person will go after them. So if this is a bit confusing, imagine Erin and I have a bunch of fireworks, 烟火, and we want to set them off. We aren't going to set off our fireworks at the same time because that would be very dangerous. Instead, I light one firework and it goes off, and then when it's gone off, Erin goes and lights the other one. We are taking turns lighting the fireworks.
All right, so at this party, they're going to use the microphone to make speeches, take turns making speeches. So not all making the speeches at the same time. Or they're going, they're going to toast Ron. Now what they're doing here is they're not kind of heating him up and making him into a nice toasted sandwich or anything. They're actually just saying really nice things about them. So when you toast someone, say I was toasting Sebastian, I would say, let's do a toast for Sebastian for doing such good work at the company. And then we would all raise our glass and we would take a drink.
And we would toast.
Yeah, and we would toast. So that's what a toast is. Now, we are toasting Ron here because he is a distinguished person. Now, we use the adjective distinguished to describe people we admire or respect a lot because they're successful or very good at what they do. Now, we usually don't use this adjective to describe young people. That's not always the case, but distinguished usually describes people who've been doing something successfully for many years. Here's an example. A distinguished reporter is going to speak to our class today. I can't wait to hear all about the amazing stories she's reported in her life.
She must have a lot of experience,
Yes.
mustn't she? Yes. Anyway, David goes on. Rosie's requests that we put down a deposit of $100 to book the room. Okay, we saw that word again, deposit, that we talked about in day one. So they want us to put down some money in advance so that we don't cancel on them.
Right.
Or so we can reserve the room. Anyway, we are putting down the deposit. And when we put down some money, we pay part of it earlier so that we can pay the rest later.
That's
so
right.
we almost always use this with the deposit. We can put down some money or
Right.
put down a deposit.
Yes.
We can also use put down in some other ways too, though. We could say, for example, that we put someone down, and that is to criticize someone so that they feel sad or embarrassed. So I could say, I hate the way my boss always puts me down in front of everyone. Thankfully, that's not true.
All right. Okay. Well, he is kind of writing to this person, Sally, I think, in HR, because this is the part that Sally needs to take care of. So she has asked David to say when he has found a restaurant. Now he's doing that, and this is why. He asks Could you please call the restaurant and attend to that? Now, what he's asking her to do is to attend to something. You can also attend to somebody. Now, when you attend to something, you deal with or do that thing. Here, attend to could just simply be do. Could you do that for me, please? Now, attend to is a bit more formal in this situation, which is a much better use in a business email. Another example, we could say, I don't have time to attend to the mess in the kitchen right now. I'll do it later. Lazy.
Don't have time to clean up.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next sentence is, they offer a special menu for the event, along with free parking for 10 vehicles.
Ooh, okay.
Okay, free parking for 10 vehicles. That's going to be useful for the company. That's because a vehicle, that's a noun, is a machine with an engine that is used to take people from place to place. Lots of things can be vehicles. Cars can be vehicles. Planes are vehicles. Trains are vehicles. Basically, if its main purpose is to get you from A to B, it's a vehicle.
That's right.
But what happens when a vehicle when it can't help us get around anymore? We scrap it. Scrap is a verb, and it means to get rid of a vehicle, normally by crushing it up into tiny pieces, or scrap metal.
Right.
So our example sentence for the word before is, the president's car was accompanied by 7 large security vehicles to make sure he was safe.
All right, so we only get 10 free parking spots, right? Now, if you have 28 people, that means you don't really want to bring 28 cars because not everybody's going to have the room to park.
You could make it first come, first serve.
You could.
The first person who gets there gets a space.
Right. And then everybody else has to find their own parking. I mean, that's something you could do, but David has a different idea. So it says here, I suggest we carpool to get there. All right, so what David did there in the letter was he suggested something. He suggested an idea. Now, when you suggest something, you give somebody else your ideas about what you or they should do, as you think it will be the better thing to do than something else. Now, David thinks it's a better idea to travel to the restaurant in groups instead of taking lots of cars and having to pay for parking. That's why he suggests carpooling, which we'll learn about in a minute. Here's an example. Edmund suggested that I try the classic breakfast at this restaurant, so that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, but we still don't know what does carpool mean.
Right.
Carpool is a verb, and no, it's got nothing to do with swimming pools. When people carpool, 2 or more of them travel in the same car to save time or money. We can carpool to work or carpool to school.
That's right.
Also, if it's not our car that is being driven, so we're not driving, we could say that we also hitched a ride with someone. So
That's
to
right.
hitch a ride with someone means to have someone drive you somewhere else.
Right.
Not a taxi, though. Not a taxi.
That's right. All right, so David is almost finished with his message. He's kind of told Sally what she needs to do or what he would like her to do. And he's going to finish it off here and say, I have attached the menu to this email. So what he's done here is he's attached A to B. So attached the menu to the email. Now, when you attach one thing to another thing, you connect these two things in some way. Here, to attach an email means to include a file or a photo that people have to click on to see. Now, these files are called attachments. That's the noun form. You can attach other things too, like you can attach your phone to your computer to move information back and forth. Here's an example. You need to attach this photo to your application form and then hand it in.
Okay, so he's going to finish off his email now, and he says, please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Regards, David. Okay, so that's a very standard ending for a formal email. You want to say, if you have something you want to say, if you're not sure about anything, send me an email and we'll talk about it. It's friendly and it's polite. Anyway, we saw the word concern there as well, and that's a noun. Concern is a worry that we might have about something. Here, David is saying very politely that people can let him know if they have any problems with his plan or if anything is worrying them about his plan. He's using the word concern here because, like the words sufficient and enough that we studied earlier, concern is a little bit more formal sounding than worry or problems.
Right.
So how do we describe someone who is worried then? We would say that they are concerned about something. Concerned here is an adjective. We could say that one of David's co-workers is concerned about the price of the restaurant, for example, if they think that it is too expensive. And that's a nice formal way of saying that they are no thanks.
Right.
You know, I'm concerned it will be expensive. I'm concerned it will be a little bit too pricey.
Right.
Anyway, let's take a look at an example sentence for concern. The recent rise in crime in this city is the cause of some public concern.
So there's
Scary.
people are starting to worry about the amount of crime.
Starting to worry, yes.
Yeah. All right, well, we are at the end of David's email today. You know how to write an email like this and how to kind of continue working on the details for planning an event. But we are not finished quite yet. We still have today's For You chat question, so let's get to that.
For You chat.
All right, today's For You chat question. What are some problems you might run into if you were to organize a big event, and how would you overcome them?
Okay, that is a good question. Well, obviously with big events, you have lots of people with lots of different needs, don't
Right.
you? And one of those needs would be their diet, like
Right.
what kind of food they are eating. So for example, do we have any vegetarians coming to the party? We have to make sure that there is food for them.
Right.
Although I think quite often people forget about that, don't they?
Yes.
Or maybe people who can only eat things for religious reasons as well. We have to make sure there's food for them.
Right.
And then another one, which I would say is not so much for big events, but still very annoying to me,
Okay.
are people who on Facebook or any kind of Evite put maybe and then give you no more information. There's nothing
Right.
worse than a maybe person.
Are they coming? Are they not
Should
coming?
we book
What's
a
going
table
on?
for you?
Yeah.
We don't know.
Exactly.
So you must have quite a lot of experience with this, don't you? Because
yeah.
you used to do a lot of event planning.
I've planned a lot of things. So one of the biggest problems that I've run into is when you have expectations for people to arrive at a certain time. And these are the people, more so the people that you need to help you do things. So if your volunteers don't come on time, you have to work harder to get things done faster. And if important people, like when I worked in theater, if the people who were running the sound and the lights were late, we couldn't even start the show without them.
Of course, yeah.
You know, that means you're on the phone quite a bit. Can I get you here faster? Should I call you a taxi? What do I need to do to get you here on time for this event? Or if they can't make it, who can I find that can do this work for them? Right? Which I've had to do multiple times. So there are fixes out there. You can fix them. You need to be prepared for that though. So always plan in advance how you're going to fix those problems before they even crop up.
And take deep breaths. 'Cause
Yes.
It's very stressful, isn't it? Very stressful.
Calm.
Breathe. Anyway, we have planned our retirement party. We
Yes.
have confirmed the details. We have everybody ready to go to Rosie's. So that means that we are all finished really for this
Okay.
topic, aren't we?
Excellent.
But we will join you again soon for more interesting articles. For
All
English
right.
for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Erin.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
An email to confirm, letting the right people know. Hello, Sally. You asked me to let the HR department know when we found a restaurant for Ron's retirement celebration. I think I've found an appropriate place to wish our boss farewell. Rosie's restaurant has a large banquet room that can accommodate 35 people. Our department has 28 people, so the space should be sufficient. With the extra seating, a few of Ron's friends in other departments can come too. Their banquet room has a large wall-mounted TV. So, I thought that we can bring a computer and show a slideshow that I put together. It shows some of the fun times we've had with Ron over the years. Rosie's also has a microphone, so we can take turns making speeches and toasting our distinguished boss. Rosie's requests that we put down a deposit of $100 to book the room. Could you please call the restaurant and attend to that? They offer a special menu for the event, along with free parking for 10 vehicles. I suggest we carpool to get there. I have attached the menu to this email. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns. Regards, David.
Vocabulary Review.
Appropriate. Melissa did not think it was appropriate for her boss to wear a tank top and gym shorts to the office. Sufficient. Gary could not finish the project because he did not have sufficient time to complete it. Distinguished. Claire is a distinguished teacher who has helped her school become the best in the city. Vehicle. My company provides a vehicle for me to drive around the city and meet customers. Suggest. Brendan wrote a report that suggested many new ways for his company to make money. Concern. David told his boss that he had concerns about the company's terrible business strategy.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net